Welcome to NXT, ladies and gentlemen, and it appears the Sicilian psychopath Tommaso Ciampa has something he wants to get off his chest. Let's listen in and see what he has to say. Yes, this is true. He's been receiving these ominous messages the last 2 weeks. I don't know about the greatest professional wrestler in this company, but he is one of the best. Saying that a takeover, Aleister will just be another name on his bucket list. Send him to the bingo halls. I don't know about that. He's gonna send him back to ICW where he belongs. I'm gonna have to agree with the fans here, ladies and gentlemen. That definitely describes Tommaso Ciampa to a T. Tommaso Ciampa not exactly enduring himself to the NXT faithful here. The match goes down at TakeOver, ladies and gentlemen. Tommaso Ciampa in the debuting Aleister Black on just that ominous message we saw last week. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't help but I can't help but think that it's going to be one hell of a hard-hitting match. If I know Aleister like I do, he can have a bid in for Tommaso Ciampa come Sunday at TakeOver. Moving on with the program, though, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Full Sail University. Kicking us off here tonight, we got the one and only King Ricochet going to team up with the North American champion Scottish Terminator Drew McIntyre, and they're going to face Samoa Joe, the Samoa submission machine, and they're going to his tag team partner, excuse me, is going to be Mr. Wrestling Kevin Owens. Now, this rivalry between Kevin Owens and Ricochet has gone to all new heights, going all the way back. I've said it many times before, going all the way back to their match that was in the NXT Championship tournament, where Kevin Owens would attack and put Ricochet on the shelf with a powerbomb right on the side of the apron, the hardest part of the ring, mind you. And then Ricochet would go on to cost Kevin Owens his match. Ricochet, it was justified. I can say that because it was Ricochet who was supposed to face AJ Styles in that matchup, but Kevin Owens, I don't know, mastermind, someone call him, I suppose, but he played to the NXT management committee and somehow weaseled his way into taking Ricochet's place, and Ricochet cost him that match. And ultimately that led to their matchup at NXT Arrival, which Ricochet, if you remember, would win. And they're going to do it once again, ladies and gentlemen, Sunday at TakeOver. His tag team partner, the North American champion, who has been on an absolute roll. I cannot stress this enough, guys. Drew McIntyre has been on an absolute roll since debuting in NXT and winning the North American Championship. He won the Fatal 4-Way match to become the first ever NXT North American champion. He would go on and he would defend that championship at NXT Arrival successfully against one of his opponents in this matchup, the Samoan submission machine. No, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry about that, guys. I'm thinking ahead to TakeOver. There's a lot going on here. But no, Drew McIntyre will successfully defend against a returning Daniel Bryan. which, you know, to a lot of our surprise, I don't think that when Drew McIntyre issued that open challenge that he thought that Daniel Bryan would be returning and Daniel Bryan would be answering the challenge. And Daniel came within inches, just inches, from winning that North American Championship. And I have no doubt that if Daniel Bryan were to get a rematch at some point in time down the line for that North American Championship, he may just pull off the win. Now this man Samoa Joe, he's a completely different story. As you heard me speaking about it earlier, he will be taking on Drew McIntyre for the North American Championship Sunday at TakeOver. Be sure to be on the lookout for TakeOver. That'll be coming your way real soon. Samoa Joe, he's one hell of a hybrid athlete. Championships, accolades, for as far as the eye can see, he's a once-in-a-lifetime professional wrestler. Come Sunday, he may just win that North American Championship. You never know. Ultimately, it's going to come down to the rugged style, I dare to say sort of a British strong style. Yes, I know he's Scottish. Of Drew McIntyre against really the brutality and the submission prowess of Samoa Joe. What better tag team partner for the Samoa submission machine than Mr. Wrestling himself, the prize fighter of NXT, Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is, in a way, is a lot like Samoa Joe. They're both ruthless in terms of being professional wrestlers, and they'll do anything it takes to get the win. And you know, in this business, really, that's the ultimate goal. You have to do what it takes, whatever it takes, to become the number one guy in whatever promotion you're in. We saw Tommaso Ciampa earlier mention ICW, and really, doesn't matter if it's ICW, doesn't matter if it's NXT, Ring of Honor, Impact, New Japan. You want to be the top guy at your company. You want to be the top guy that carries that company into the future. And I have no doubt that all four of these guys, while Drew McIntyre may be the North American champion at the moment, he wants to eventually move on to greener pastures and ultimately become the face of NXT, become the NXT champion. While he is making the North American Championship prestigious at the moment, it's not that big gold belt. We're underway here in our opening contest, guys. Hope you've been enjoying NXT, all these episodes that have been coming out thus far. I'm really enjoying this, and I think even though this is only the 11th episode, you know, we've come a long way from the beginning. Yeah, I want to thank you all. And specifically, I want to thank our commissioner here, Mr. Lundy. Thanks to you. This is all possible, and we are moving on in the future. Samoa Joe here gonna look for a submission hold. Match just getting started. You already hear the crowd are chanting NXT. Shows the appreciation that they have for all the professional athletes that we have on our roster. Not just these four as individuals, but everyone. And Ricochet looked, he had the intention of Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens takes advantage, suplex Ricochet to the outside. Referee gonna start his count. Joe now has the king. Gonna send him back to the ring. Big shot right there to the chest, followed by a big boot. Ricochet now, he was on a roll until he got distracted by Kevin Owens. If he keeps continue to get distracted, I don't know. He may end up costing his team this matchup. Big boot there by Mr. Wrestling. Stomp right there to the midsection. I'm not gonna talk trash right in the face of Ricochet. KO has him now kicked to the midsection. What's he looking for here? Powerbomb, no. Ricochet counters. Gonna roll through into the cover. This be it as early as it began. And Kevin Owens showing his wits, managing to switch up that pinfall predicament. Oh, the headbutt. Getting shot right there to the chest. KO now gonna tag back in. This is the moment submission saying she sends Ricochet off the ropes. Double shoulder block. Beautifully executed there by the two gentlemen. But that's kind of, yeah, let's just not go there. Ricochet now shot there. Now he has Samoa Joe is the one that's stunned in their corner, and look at the power of, oh my goodness, the power of Ricochet. Damn near 300 pounds deadlifting Samoa Joe. And oh, it looked like Drew was gonna look for a power bomb or maybe a pile driver, and Samoa Joe was having none of it. Joe now has, I started to say Joe has Drew. Joe off the ropes and senton right across the chest of the North American champion. Joe has him now. What's he gonna do with him? Gonna drag him over to his corner. And you know, it's to my surprise. Hold on a second here. What's this? A muscle buster by Samoa Joe. Kevin Owens on the top rope, double foot stomp right to the heart of Drew McIntyre. And a headbutt. I started to say, to my surprise, all four of these men are actually working pretty damn well with their teammates. And now is Kevin Owens going to look to turn his attention to Ricochet. Oh, and a cheap shot. Oh, and a spike DDT. Drops Ricochet on his head. Shouldn't be surprised with Kevin Owens. Cheap shots are kind of his thing. We saw right here on this program about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. One of these previous episodes. I believe it was last week. We saw Ricochet was in action against Samoa Joe. Kevin Owens coming from the crowd and would package pile drive the King and ultimately hand the victory to Samoa Joe. Crowds on their feet once again. Kevin Owens has Drew up and F-Sing nails it. Shoots the half. Ricochet, can he get to him in time? And no. Ricochet almost looked like he wouldn't have made it in time. Luckily, Drew McIntyre managed to kick out. Clubbing blow right there to the back. Luckily, Drew has the heart of a champion. Any other man would have stayed down right there off the belly-to-belly suplex. Drew now going to look to wrench the neck. Now, Drew wrenching the neck. This could go one of two ways. Either we could see Drew potentially set up for that Claymore kick, which he's been using for the last couple of weeks, and which has been gaining him victory after victory after victory, or he could potentially pop out that future shock DDT at any point in time. Oh, a spinning tornado roundhouse. I don't even know. He has moves that I've never seen before, and names that I don't even know the names to. Names that I don't know the names to? What? Moves I don't know the name. Oh my goodness. Springboard. Phoenix splash. My mind is somewhere else. I don't know what's going on. Big shot right there from Ricochet. And gonna surprisingly send Kevin Owens to his corner. And now it's Ricochet that has Kevin Owens up. Roundhouse kick right there to the side of the head. Ricochet now. Can they pick up the win for his team? No. Kevin Owens manages to kick out and stay alive for his team in this matchup. This is just our opening contest, guys. I really hope you enjoyed what you've been seeing here thus far. Remember, TakeOver is this weekend. Samoa Joe now, what's he doing here? Oh, gonna take Drew off the apron. That's sort of a cheap shot. Knee right there to the midsection. You're gonna stomp the chest of the one and only. Ricochet sends to the top turnbuckle. What am I saying? Sends to the turnbuckles. Why? I don't know what's happening. My mind is all over the place. Kick right there to the midsection of Kevin. Oh my goodness. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Power bomb by Kevin Owens. KO has him now. Big shot there. Stunned Ricochet. Kick to the midsection, followed by another. Goodness gracious. It's been headbutts galore in this contest from Kevin Owens. Kevin counters. Super kick. No. Countered by Ricochet. Super kick to the midsection of his own, followed by an uppercut. The King gonna drag him now to his corner. And he's gonna send to the top turnbuckle. What he could be looking for here in the 630 splash. Well, that's Ricochet's finishing maneuver. Referee talking to Drew McIntyre. Samoa Joe's just standing there. And how about that? Off the 630 splash, Ricochet picks up the win. Well, that has me kind of baffled. All I can assume is that I believe Samoa Joe thought Kevin Owens was going to kick out of the 630 splash. But to his surprise and my surprise, oh, nevertheless, I'm a bit baffled. I really am. There you see it right here, the 630 splash. Drew was about to get in the ring. He was stopped by the referee. And Samoa Joe did get in the ring, but he did nothing. Nevertheless, there's your winners, guys. Ricochet and the North American champion stand tall on this go-home episode of NXT. The champ and the one and only. They prevail here tonight on NXT. Well, as I mentioned before, ladies and gentlemen, coming your way on Sunday, TakeOver. We arrived, now we're taking over, guys. It is the rematch of the one and only King Ricochet, gonna take on Mr. Wrestling himself, Kevin Owens, the prize fighter. They had one hell of an encounter at NXT Arrival. They're gonna do it again. They're gonna burn that house down, and man, I can't wait, guys. Also, I mentioned before that Samoa Joe was named the #1 contender by the management committee to Drew McIntyre's North American Championship. Now, Samoa Joe, that's a bad man right there, but Drew McIntyre, the Scottish Terminator, if he has anything to say about it, he will be walking out of Universal Studios still the North American champion. It comes your way this Sunday. Be sure to take off, tune in, and we are going to be there because we're taking over the whole damn show.
And in the top 1%.
And NXT just became NX3 because the top 1% has just arrived here at Full Sail. Now EC3, he can't be a happy camper. And I say this because a few weeks ago we saw that EC3 was taking on Dolph Ziggler and it was a #1 contenders match. And that match was to determine the #1 contender for the NXT Championship. That match was ruined by his opponent here tonight, the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne. And honestly, if I was EC3, I wouldn't be happy about it either. Because Pete Dunne potentially ruined EC3's chance to become the #1 contender. For it to be a... I have an idea of why Pete Dunne did what he did. And he's pissed. And to his credit, Pete Dunne is one hell of a tremendous athlete. There's no doubt in my mind about that. He came within inches, not even inches, within centimeters of becoming the NXT champion at Arrival. But sadly was not to be for the Bruiserweight. And AJ Styles, he wanted it just a little bit more than Pete Dunne. And you know, if I was Pete, I'd be upset about that too. But he has been on the warpath since Arrival, and he's been just taking out everybody in his path. He took out Cesaro on the episode after NXT Arrival. He caused Dolph Ziggler and EC3 the #1 contenders match to become the #1 contender. And you know, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this in terms of Pete Dunne, because I am a fan of his, and I wouldn't go as far as to consider myself a friend of his, because honestly I don't think he has friends. But nonetheless, he's been different since Arrival. Surprised he didn't get a clean break from these two gentlemen. Colin Noble type again. Pete has him in side headlock now. Gonna look to work over the arm. EC3 to his credit. Gonna counter. Right, as soon as I say counter, the Bruiserweight counters right back. Both these gentlemen they're looking for the feeling out process, and that's what a lot of the guys have been doing lately. Well, pretty much from the get-go, they look for the feel-out process, and so much for the feeling out process as Pete Dunne just levels EC3 and cleans the cock with that forearm. I've said it before and I'll say it again, Pete Dunne has one of the stiffest forearms in the business today. Dunne now gonna look to work over the lower back and surprisingly breaks the hold. Looking for a headbutt now. EC3 manages to get out of it. EC3 send Pete off to the ropes. Big clothesline and a bulldog right to the center of the ring. EC3 saying, I guess, you know, I want to play the mind games. I can play the mind games too. Sure, why not? Kick right there to the midsection, followed by another one, followed by a chop. He's got Pete stunned in the corner. Pete managed to get out of it relatively quickly before a snap suplex and drops EC3 right on the side of his neck. Pete now on the outside. EC3 looking to, struggling to get to his feet. Oh, and another forearm. Pete Dunne always going to that one best friend he has right there, that brutal forearm of his. It's clean the clock of from some of the best on the roster. Pete has him now fireman's carry position. What's he gonna do with him? Oh, well, that's that's definitely an uncomfortable position for Ethan to be in. Pete now, he looked like he might wanted to go for a count out. Might have been looking for a full Nelson suplex. Ethan manages to get out of it. Punch to the face, kick to the midsection. He has enough short arm clothesline in the corner, followed by another bulldog. First cover of the matchup goes to Ethan. 2 count. T3's saying to the ref, that should have been a little bit quicker, ref. I don't know about that. It looked pretty fair to me. Ethan looked like he was looking for a drop kick there. Pete manages to evade it. Gonna toss him away, butterfly. Bring him down to his feet, kick to the midsection. Could he be looking for a suplex? Oh no, Ethan counters into a Northern Light suplex of his own. Almost looked like Pete might have been looking for that X-plex. And now Ethan has him up on the shoulders. TK3 drops Pete Dunne face first. Opts not to go for a cover now. Gonna go to the top rope. Oh, and high risk did not pay off. He should have went for a cover there. Ethan looked for an elbow drop. Found nothing but canvas. It was Pete. Oh, and a guillotine. For a second, I didn't know what the hell Pete was trying to do. Locks in a guillotine here. Is Ethan gonna tap out? And no, the power of EC3 manages to break out of it. And Ethan now with a short arm clothesline. You know what? I want to say that Pete Dunne almost, not entirely, deserves to at least one more shot at the NXT Championship. Hold on now, power bomb. But there are other members on the roster, and everyone has to have their fair shot. Kick to the midsection there. Could he be looking for a pile driver? No, it's a power bomb. And that's where the #1 contenders match came into play. So we could have everybody on the roster could have their fair chance, their fair opportunity at potentially being the NXT champion. Pete Dunne saying it's over. Kick right here to the midsection. Couldn't be looking for the X-plex, and oh my god! Oh my god! Goodness gracious! It looked like he was gonna go for the X-plex, but no, he countered into a power bomb. Oh my goodness! See, that's what I mean. Pete Dunne, he's one of the best that we have on the roster here. And it may not be right now, but I have no doubt in my mind that Pete Dunne potentially is one day going to be the NXT champion off the moonsault here. Shoots for the cover. And Ethan manages to kick out. This crowd is coming alive for the main event. Pete going to stomp on the chest. That huge chest of Ethan Carter III. Kick right there to the midsection. Could it be looking for the X-plex now? Yes, he does. He got it. Could it be potentially looking for the bitter end now? Pete Dunne calling EC3 to his feet. He's nailed the X-plex. Could it be looking to nail the bitter end here? Oh, here we go. Payback for last week. Oh, 1%er. Oh, payback is a... We're not PG, so I'll say paybacks are a bitch. Last week, we saw Pete Dunne come out and cost AJ Styles his matchup against Dolph Ziggler. AJ Styles coming out this week with a bit of retribution for the Bruiserweight, costing him his matchup with the top 1% of NXT. Oh man, that's not going to sit well with Pete Dunne. That's not going to sit well with Pete at all. Oh man, there's going to be hell to pay if I know Pete Dunne like I know Pete Dunne. He is not going to let this slide. Nevertheless, there is your winner of the main event here tonight on NXT, guys. The top 1%. What I say is breaking down up on the entranceway. AJ Styles and Pete Dunne. This rivalry far from over. the matchup at Arrival basically settled nothing. They're beating the living hell out of each other on the entranceway. Pete Dunne now kicked to the midsection. Gonna chop the chest of the NXT champion. AJ Styles manages to fight out of it. Oh my. Cleans the clock of the Bruiserweight. This just added fuel to the fire. They're fighting all the way back to the entranceway. They're up there by the staging area. Referee from the contest is up there. I guess he's gonna attempt to get some sort of control over this matchup. Or not even a matchup, this is just a fight. These two guys looking like they're gonna fight all the way back to the backstage area. And what the hell is this? Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler wants to be the #1 contender for the NXT Championship. He's not gonna let EC3 stand in the way of Dolph Ziggler becoming the #1 contender. It is breaking down. It's chaos here at the NXT arena at Full Sail University. Chaos all over the place, guys. How about this for a main event, guys? We're just in. The main event for NXT TakeOver is going to be a fatal four-way match. The Bruiserweight Pete Dunne, the show-off Dolph Ziggler, the top 1% Ethan Carter III, and the phenomenal NXT World Champion AJ Styles. We're going to do battle in a fatal four-way match for the NXT Championship. And if that's any indication from what we just saw, Universal Studios is not going to be able to hold this fight. It's going to go all over the freaking place. Nevertheless, that is your main event for NXT TakeOver. It is one hell of a main event, and I cannot wait to get to Universal Studios. They are going to burn it down here in Orlando, Florida, guys. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Turn on those post notifications. Subscribe, like, share with your friends if you are enjoying Universe Mode. Because we are just getting started, and oh my gosh, this is going to be one hell of a main event. Continue to change your game, guys, and we'll see you at NXT TakeOver.